Hello, Michael Greenspan here from GetPainFree.tv, and I'm here to talk to you about posture, and more posture, and how posture is really so important to assess when you're getting somebody out of pain. And posture really tells everything. Posture never lies. People lie, but posture never lies. So whether you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, migraines, TMJ, headaches, you name it, any kind of chronic muscular aches and pains, you can really assess posture to see what is the root cause of it and how you can realign posture to get out of pain. So right now what I'm going to do is have Julia come over here right now, and we're going to look at Julia's posture, and I'm going to talk to you about basically what is the blueprint, the ideal posture that we want to have where you don't really have any aches and pains, the least amount of aches and pains, the most tension-free, stress-free body. So let's look at Julia right now, and she's standing straight up right now. I'm going to have her stand hip-width apart, with her feet hip-width apart, a little bit closer. So ideally your shoulders, if you look in the mirror, you want your shoulders to line up horizontally and vertically. So what that means is her shoulders are vertically aligned or horizontally aligned like this. So right now Julia's shoulders are lined up horizontally, except her right shoulder is actually pulled forward. So it may not be easy, I'm not sure if you can tell on the camera, yet this right shoulder twists forward. And that's common with people who favor their right arm, they mouse at the computer, they play tennis, they play golf, whatever it is, it's a muscle imbalance of the right side versus the left side, where that right side is pulling forward. So she has a propensity to have basically pain down her arm, into her hands, carpal tunnel, burning between her shoulder blades on her right side, even headaches on the right side, going all the way behind her eye, behind her temple. So with Julia's posture, with the shoulders pulling forward on the right side, there's a propensity to have headaches, whether it's on the left or right side. But what you can do is you can do certain exercises that bring that shoulder back into alignment. So now let's go ahead and look at Julia's pelvic area. And the same thing with the hips and the pelvis is that you want the pelvis to be even right here horizontally. So you want it to be even so one side's not higher or lower and one side is not pulled forward or back. Just like the shoulders. So the more in balance your shoulders are, whether it's high or low or forward and back, and the more in balance your pelvis is, higher, lower, and forward and back, the less pain typically somebody feels. Okay, so now that we looked at Julia from the front side, where we looked at the level of her shoulders, the level of her hips, I'm going to have Julia turn to the side and face that way right there. And when you look at somebody from the side, the blueprint model that you want from the side is so when you're standing, is so the ear lines up with the shoulder, lines up with the hip joint, lines up with the knee, lines up with the ankle. So what I'm going to do is step over here and actually right here, and we're going to start with the ankle. So the ankle needs to be directly under the knee. The knee needs to be directly under the hip. The hip needs to be directly under the shoulder. And you can see with Julia, the hip is a little bit in front of the shoulder. And that's common with people, and that's going to cause lower back pain. And Julia does have a little bit of lower back pain, so it makes sense. The more we can realign her hip and her pelvis directly below and in balance with her torso, with her shoulder, so she's vertically aligned, the less stress, the less tension will go into her lower back, and the less pain she will feel. And then her shoulder, right here, the center of her shoulder should be lined up with her ear. So from the side, from her right side, Julia has pretty good posture, pretty good postural alignment. So let's have Julia turn the other way, and we're going to look at her left side. So Julia's left side is, just like everybody, is probably a little different from the other side. You see, nobody's totally symmetrical. A lot of times one side looks different from the other side. So right now, let's start at the ankle. And you can see her ankle and her knee actually do not line up on this side. Her knee is a little bit behind her ankle on her left side. So it's a different postural alignment on her left side. And her knee and her hip actually line up right here. And then her shoulder is behind her hip, just like on the right side. And then, as you can see, her ear is actually a little bit more in front of her left shoulder compared to the other side. So she has a little bit of a rotation going on in her body, causing a disparity between both sides. So we just finished looking at Julia's posture from the front and from both sides, and how she lines up vertically and how she lines up horizontally. The other important thing is to look at tilt. Pelvic tilt is really important. So I'm going to look at Julia's pelvic tilt here. What that means is, how is the muscle balance in her hip flexors and in her hip extensors? How does her pelvic position look as far as, is there a tilt forward? So if she tilted her pelvis forward, she'd have a big curve in her lower back. It's kind of like Donald Duck. If she tilted her pelvis back, she'd have a flat back like Pink Panther. So basically, there's like Pink Panther versus Donald Duck, you can say. Either way, Pink Panther or Donald Duck has pain, because both of them have a postural distortion. So now that we talked about posture and postural alignment, I'm going to have Julia step aside. So basically here we talked about how posture is key to living a more pain-free life. And it's really important to stay aligned with posture. And you can really look and assess your posture to see how it lines up with gravity, how it's in line or out of line, and how it could be causing or at a consequence of your aches and pains. So there's many ways to bring your posture back into alignment so you have less tension and less stress in your body. And please take a moment to look around the website at many of the videos that will help you to achieve better posture. Thank you.